Hello, good morning, dear students. Welcome back to the last session of Management Accounting. Today, we are going to start with the last unit of our syllabus, that is Responsibility Accounting, completely based on theory, right? So, let us get started. Starting with the introduction. The word responsibility is not new for us. We used to hear it or use it in our day-to-day life. A simple meaning of responsibility is a state of fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having control over someone. As we all know, we are listening this word responsibility since so long, and we all are performing the same more or less since childhood, right? So now the word responsibility is attached with the word accounting. So let us have a look at the concept. The responsibility accounting means to collect, summarize and report of financial information about various decision centers called as responsibility centers throughout the organization. So here the complete management of the organization is divided into small parts or small size of organization, and responsibility is set and delegated to a person, and that person is responsible for that function and to get the report of the same or to get the feedback of the same. So the report which is presented is called responsibility accounting. It traces the cost, revenue or profits to the individuals, manager who are primarily responsible for making the decision about any of the above and taking actions about them. Responsibility accounting is appropriate where the top management has delegated the authority to make the decisions. The idea behind responsibility accounting is that each manager's performance should be judged by how well he or she manages those items under his or her control. So here, once again, I repeat the concept of responsibility accounting. For example, there is an organization. The organization is divided into certain parts. Each part is having one responsible person who may be the divisional head or the manager. That person is delegated the authority and that person is given the responsibility to have a look at the function of the particular department, and he needs to report to the top management. So this delegation of authority and acceptance of responsibility and to work accordingly is called responsibility accounting. The measurement, the performance, the report submission, the comparison is called responsibility accounting. Let me give you a simple example from a movie. There is a movie under which Ranveer Singh and Anushka Sharma was the cast. I am not going to name the movie. There was a dubbing movie of Ranveer Singh. Under that, there was a concept of event management organization. So both of them were running an event management organization under which they have delegated the responsibilities of each other. They have selected their working area. For example, catering, music, lights, decorations, etc., etc. So for example, there are 6 different functions. So they have distributed 3:3 or in a certain ratio, or certain work is divided between both of them. So the person is responsible. If a person has selected lighting, catering and decoration, that person needs to look after only that 3 departments of the event, right? The rest of the events or rest of the functions are managed by the other person of the in the event. So in that case, all the work was properly done just because the person was assigned the duty of only that particular functions. Now after that, due to certain conflict, they have departed and they have started their own unit or their own event management firm, under which one person was looking after all the functions, one person was looking after all the work. So there was certain disasters related with that for both of them. So eventually any of the disasters in the event which spoil the event, and apparently their goodwill and their brand name collapsed. So in that case, nobody was ready to work with them single. There was a party or the client who offered they will be working together, or that party will give them the event if they will work together. Just because if they were working individually, there were a list of disasters. So in that case, this can be the best example of responsibility accounting. The one person is held responsible for completing certain task or certain work. The sole responsibility of completion of the work and task will be of that person only, right? And at the end of the activity, the report has to be prepared and it is to be submitted to the top management. So finally, the managers or head of the department who have been allocated some work and made responsible for the fulfillment of their targets are to be controlled and checked, and the performance evaluation of their activities, job attainment and their efficiencies is to be measured in terms of cost and revenue. તો આ તો મેં તમને જે વાત કરી એ પ્રેક્ટિકલ લાઈફની વાત કરી કે જેમાં એક્ઝેક્ટલી તમે જે ડેમેજ છે એ એવરી ટાઈમ તમે કોસ્ટ ડેમેજ ના કરી શકો. દેર મે બી અ ડેમેજ ઓફ ગુડવિલ, દેર મે બી અ ડેમેજ ઓફ the event or the goodwill as a whole, right? So in that case completely cost and revenue નું justification નહોતું મેં જે એક્ઝામ્પલ આપ્યું એ, પણ આપણે અકાઉન્ટિંગ ટર્મ્સમાં લઈએ, આપણે બિઝનેસ ટર્મ્સમાં લઈએ, સો ડેફિનેટલી યસ કોસ્ટ અને રેવન્યુનું કમ્પેરિઝન થવું જોઈએ અને તમારો જે કોઈ બી ટાસ્ક છે, તમારું જે કોઈ બી વર્ક છે એ મેજર થવું જોઈએ કોસ્ટ અને રેવન્યુના કોન્ટેક્સ્ટમાં. Under responsibility accounting, persons are made responsible for the work assigned to them, and for the execution of plans, evaluation of actual performance is made to check whether the performance is according to the plan or not. So finally, to an extent, તમે એવું કહી શકો આનો મિનિંગ છે ને, to an extent સ્ટાન્ડર્ડ કોસ્ટિંગ સાથે મેચ થાય છે. પહેલાં તો એક સેટ ઓફ એક્ટિવિટી નક્કી થાય છે, પ્લાન નક્કી થાય છે, પછી એ પ્લાન તમે એક્ઝિક્યુટ કરો છો. After execution of plan, an actual work is done. The actual work done is compared with the planned activity. After the comparison, if any deviations are there, if any variations are there, if any loopholes are there, that they are to be found out and corrective actions are taken to correct the same in the next step or in the next process, right? So this is what responsibility accounting is all about. If actuals are not according to plan, the range of deviation is found, as we have discussed right now. The reasons behind such deviation or variation is studied, and the corrective measures can be taken to overcome such variations. So a set of plan, a set of objective is pre-decided. Then the second step is to implement the same objective into the action, or the work is carried out to achieve that objective. After the completion of work, both of them are compared, the predetermined objective or targets with the actual one. If there is any deviations, then it can be studied and further corrective measures are taken place. In short, responsibility accounting may be known as decentralization of responsibility centers, so that the desired control can be ensured and thereby the goals of the organization can be attained. So this is what the responsibility accounting is all about. You are just delegating the responsibility to the other person to complete certain task, and that person is made responsible to complete the same, and that person is responsible to submit the feedback to the top management. Let us move ahead with the definition of responsibility accounting. Responsibility accounting is a system of management accounting under which accountability is established according to the responsibility delegated to various levels of management, and the management and reporting system institute to give adequate feedback in terms of delegated responsibility. So here the target is set, the work is done according to that, and finally the reports are to be submitted to the top management, just to see whether the predetermined task is achieved or not. Next definition, responsibility accounting is the accumulation of cost and revenue according to the areas of responsibilities, in order that the deviations from the standard cost and budgets can be identified with the persons or groups responsible. So here the matter is about cost and revenue. So we are having a predetermined objective, we are having a plan of work ready with us that has to be put into implementation, and further after the work is completed, the actual work is compared with the budgeted one, whether it is a cost or a revenue, and then if there is any deviations are there, that could be found out, and further certain corrective measures are taken. The features of responsibility accounting we are having, it's a control system. By introducing the responsibility accounting system into the organization, you can make one person responsible for completion of certain tasks. For example, we have appointed a production manager. So what is the duty or responsibility of production manager? Just to look after all the data, all the work related with the production. If there is any loophole in the production process, who is held responsible? The production manager, right? Excuse me. For example, the target has been set. Right now the company is working at 1000 units capacity. Now the top management wants to increase the working capacity from 1000 units to 1500 units, and this responsibility is given to the production manager, and the production manager is required to give the nutshell or blueprint how he is going to attain this task. Then the production manager needs to prepare the report to achieve that objective. For example, he may require additional raw materials, he may require additional laborers. It may so happen that many skilled workers are required just to increase the efficiency or just to increase the productivity. So for that purpose, certain cost also can be increased, because skilled laborers must be paid little bit more wages than the normal person, right? So in that case, to achieve the production of 1500 units, you need extra raw material, you need to pay extra wages to the workers. So those are the area which increases the cost. What increases the revenue? The increase in the production of 500 units will increase your revenue. So here there would be a comparison of cost and revenue. The cost benefit analysis has to be done, and then the same plan is to be implemented, and finally the report is to be prepared and it is presented before the management. So it is a control system. So here the entire organization is divided into small responsibility centers. The responsibility of each responsibility centers are fixed in terms of cost and revenue. एक बहुत सिंपल एग्जाम्पल आपको एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन છે જે 4 સેન્ટરમાં ડિસ્ટ્રીબ્યુટ થયું છે: પ્રોડક્શન, ફિનાન્સ, માર્કેટિંગ એન્ડ human resource, right? So production manager is responsible for the cost and revenue of production department. HR manager is responsible for the cost and revenue of HR department, and so on. Okay, so each department is called responsibility center. One more simple example. માનો કે કોલેજમાં પિકનિક જવાની વાત ચાલે છે. This is just an example. It was the announcement that we are going for the picnic on so and so date with so and so resources and all, and students are required to pay the fees. So here, to quicken up the collection, we are having certain tasks. To collect the fees of the picnic, we are having many of the options. Option number 1, a single person is appointed, and to that person all the students are required to submit their fees. So for example, 500 students are coming for the picnic, and 500 students are paying the amount at a time. So there would be a huge row, or there would be a huge line, a huge rush for the payment of the fees, right? So it may so happen that you need to wait for 3 hours to pay the fees, so which is not feasible. So what is the right way, or what is the quicken up way to quicken the fees or receipts, or we can say the amount? So we can appoint one person from one class, so that one person is responsible to collect the fees from that class, so the fees collection can be quickened up, and finally the final number of students can be known just by the end of the day. So here, this is the perfect delegation of responsibility. This is the perfect example of decentralization or delegation of authority, so that the work is done within no time and perfect results are going to be attained within the time limit. So this can be also the example of responsibility accounting. For example, a student have made a mistake in calculation, so that the amount is not getting tallied with the number of students. So who will be held responsible? For a student of that particular class only is held responsible for that, and that person is required to tally the amount and submit it to the top management. So this can be the example of your responsibility accounting as well. Point number 4, data is collected, reports are prepared on that basis and presented to the respective authorities, and corrective measures are taken if there is any deviations or variations between the standard and actual results. Importance or advantages of responsibility accounting. It is an important tool of control. The managers can be more accurate and efficient in their work. Cost consciousness can be increased, and loopholes can be easily detected in any of the operations. See, all these topics are not new. You are studying this since so long. So these advantages are easily understood, as this is the management information system, or as it is the tool to control the management. So here the accurate result can be known. Cost consciousness can also be increased because one person is held responsible to look after the activity, and loopholes can be easily detected in any operations, because here we are comparing the actual results with the budgeted or standard results. So here the detection of errors can be easily done. Next, benefits of management by exception is achieved, એટલે કે જે પોર્શનમાં જે એરિયામાં જે વ્યક્તિનું જ્યાં ધ્યાન આપવાનું છે ત્યાં જ ધ્યાન દેવાની જરૂર છે, બીજી કોઈ એક્ટિવિટીમાં કોન્સન્ટ્રેશનની રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ નથી. સો મેનેજમેન્ટ બાય એક્સેપ્શનનો બેનિફિટ અહીંયા મળી શકે છે. The performance of each divisional manager can be compared. The deviations can be found easily. So finally, all the advantages of decentralization can be achieved in case of responsibility accounting. Moving further with the limitations. Efficient structure of organization is the prerequisite or precondition for responsibility accounting. So firstly, you need to establish an efficient structure in the organization, then only the responsibility accounting function can be easily adopted. Positive attitude of top management is essential. Every time it is not as such that cost should not be increased or negative results are not going to be attained. You need to be perfect in your work, not like that. The management has to be little bit positive about the work. If any certain deviations are negative, corrective measures can be attained to make it positive. And the performance evaluation, the performance appraisal should be rational. There should be no any malpractices, no any biased decision, or no any favoritism should be there in this. The success of responsibility accounting depends upon its usage and its user. See, there is a touch screen cell phone or the smartphone is there. A person who doesn't know how to operate, so for him it is just the tool, it is just the cell phone, or it is just the gadget. But the person who knows how to operate this, the person who knows how to use it, it is like a world to him, right? So this is just a tool. તો આ ટૂલ કેવું છે કે જે પ્રોપરલી યુઝ કરી શકશે એમને જ એના બેનિફિટ્સ મળશે. ખાલી રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટી અકાઉન્ટિંગ ઓર્ગેનાઇઝેશનમાં અડોપ્ટ કરવાથી એના રિઝલ્ટ નહીં મળે, પ્રોપરલી અડોપ્ટ કરવાથી એના રિઝલ્ટ્સ મળશે, રાઈટ? It possesses all the limitations of decentralization. જેમ ડિસેન્ટ્રલાઇઝેશનના એડવાન્ટેજીસ બી છે, એ રીતે જે ડિસેન્ટ્રલાઇઝેશનના ડિસએડવાન્ટેજીસ છે એ બધા અહીંયા કન્ટિન્યુ થશે, જસ્ટ બિકોઝ ઇટ મે બી જેટલું રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટી અને ડેલિગેશન ઓફ ઓથોરિટી જેટલું બેનિફિશિયલ છે એટલું રિસ્કી પણ છે. Third one, in modern organization, mostly all the departments are interconnected and interdependent, so it is tough to clearly define the responsibility centers. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about responsibility centers. There are responsibility centers. The centers or the whole organization is distributed into different responsibility centers. For example, cost center, revenue center, and profit center. What cost center needs to do? They just have to concentrate on the cost area of the business. They always try to eliminate the cost, or they always try to reduce the cost. Revenue center, what is the task of revenue center? They have to adopt certain activity which increases the revenue of the business. And what is the work of profit center? To increase the profit of the business, right? So exactly you cannot distribute, or exactly you cannot justify all the centers that this center is cost center. It may so happen that that center works both the things. They are working on cost as well as they are working on the revenues, right? So exact definition or exact justification of the centers cannot be done just because the area of operations are interconnected, they are interrelated. Okay, so all these are the limitations of responsibility accounting. In the next session that I am going to upload today itself, we are going to discuss responsibility centers. The detailed description you can refer from the textbook. Okay, there would be a 10 marks question from this chapter, so this is equally important for you to memorize all these things. Alright, so uploading the next video for responsibility centers. And so finally today we are going to conclude our syllabus. Thank you all. We'll be uploading the second video, so don't forget to watch that as well. Thank you all.